surprise me if we see a couple of them coming into the numbers.
Yeah, it definitely would be worth the investment time because you did, of course, push those 2 survivors or 2 gens out really early. Dwight getting grabbed here by Slow, though. That is going to be huge. A second stage for it.
By the knee.
Wait.
Holy moly. So many guns in these days.
Oh, and then the down here, and then that's going to be somebody who's on death hook now because the second stage is going to be forced. The question is there borrowed time? And even if there is, the timer is going to be just about out. Here's one blink, the second blink coming across. We have 3 survivors down before a 3rd gen's pop. This is wow. Hey, what it do? It's your boy Q, and welcome back to YouTube. And let's get ready for another trip here back into the fog with some more Blood Moon League action. Now, we do got this best of 3 series here between Golden Wolves and Infinity. The only thing was we needed 4 sets to determine a winner. We are still in group play here, and remember, in group stage play, every set win truly matters. Not only every set win, but really every point that you accrue during those sets also could matter for seeding when it comes to the next round. But not only did we get to see some banging gameplay, we also got to see the homie MissBarn make her international debut. If you've seen some of our OCE action over here on the YouTube, you'll know that this isn't our first time sharing the desk with the Australian sensation, but I just gotta add that I was super happy to see her really spreading her wings, and she'll be making that DBD League debut before y'all know it. But as far as this matchup here, right, we're gonna be seeing and getting started with the Cenobite on the Wrecker's Yard. Then you're gonna be seeing 4 trials of the Nurse on the Cold Tower, and then the 3rd and decisive set. 4th and decisive set? The final set here is going to be the Twins on Mount Ormond. Don't forget to do the YouTube things. Every like, comment, share is going to help us with that YouTube algorithm as we do chase 500 subscribers down here on the channel. So don't forget to check down below, smack that button, and then tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody about it. But for now, let's get to some Golden Wolves versus Infinity action. And until we do catch y'all back over here on the YouTube, man, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. All right, y'all? It's your boy Q, signing out. All right, let's go ahead and take another trip here back into the fog. Getting started with matchup number 2 here between Golden Wolves and Infinity. And we're getting started with one of my favorite newest killers we're starting to see break into the scene here in competitive DBD, being the Cenobite. Going to be here on the red shop. Oh, get stunned, stupid, says Nancy here. Applying plus 10 wood to the face, able to take some built-in distance here. And as Direwolf had talked about, I am going to be joined on the desk here today by everyone's favorite Australian, Barn. How are you doing, MissBarn?
Q, I'm so good. I'm so excited to see my first Cenobite in comp. I think I'm excited to see how this game goes and how he's going to play. I think what's fun to watch about the Cenobite is the options that he has with teleporting to the box, getting that information, starting the chain hunt. I think it's nice to see if that's the option that they choose as chase this slide around the main building.
Yeah, we're going to be able to see here, and this is the Dwight who's holding the box as well. This could be really unfortunate for our survivors. What I really enjoy the few times we have seen the Cenobite here in competitive DBD is kind of seeing seeing the killers try and use the box logic, because sometimes that inopportune chain hunt can be really bad here, especially because now at this point our survivors aren't going to be able to, really work on any gens as they have those chains coming after them, which is going to buy us extra value from the dead man switch, which is honestly, the more I think about, quite filthy here as we're moving into our first chain hunt. Gets us an early hook here before the corrupt intervention is expired. Honestly, you kind of get the freedom to camp a free hook state here if you want, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of choices to be made now, I guess. Here we can see that the Nancy's currently solving the box, but we've also got, as you said, a very early hook at 5 gens. We may see now the box being solved, so the survivors are no longer being affected by that chain hunt, but definitely the dead man switch with the chain hunt combination, a little bit dirty and not something that I think that I'd like to go through.
And we do see, though, we've got multiple survivors moving in here. We want to keep that in mind because, of course, multiple survivors moving in this early in the trial means less survivors currently working on the gen. We are going to be seeing the chain coming out, slowing down Dwight just a little bit here, trying to get the use of the... What? On the other side, after the hit here, it is the borrowed time hit. Does get the stun, able to get the reverse on the pallet, able to build some distance here. But right now, going to at least be able to extend this chase a little bit. That borrowed time hit was actually really big. I would imagine the borrowed time had to be just about expired. We did see generator number 1 getting popped, but before we see hook number 2, right now our survivors would really like to see at least a second generator.
Yeah, you'd hope to see a second gen for this chase. So we're going for this. We've got no decisive strike, no unbreakable in play against the pinhead, so it's certainly a logical choice to tunnel it out, get that pressure, and make it a 3v1 as soon as possible. We've also got no exhaustion perks against the Cenobite either, so it does make for some fun chases that we can see our survivors show off their skill and not rely on those filthy exhaustion perks that I know we all hate. A bit of a mischain there from Slow over to the hill gen here. We do have Deadman switch propped on the main gen, which is really nice to see. A bit of regression there as Slow forcing Deadman switch to apply to the hill gen as well. A lot of progression on these gens over here, but a nice hook here, and we do see an unhook come through as well. Wouldn't surprise me now if Slow goes for this Dwight to get him out of the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, he will not be going to the box and doing the thing instead here. Just going to be getting the swing through the pallet. Does get an injured state. Will get that survivor out of the way here. Hopefully that way he can try and continue this tunnel out process. We've got the chains here. Ace still sticking around, says, nah, I'll go ahead and take the down for you. But I don't think Slow is going to take the hook state. I think instead is going to use this down here to build additional pressure. Now able to actually get the very beautiful M2 onto the Dwight, working the way around. Dwight faults, but Slow is going to be just a little too early onto the M1. Does get the application there, but Dwight gets the vault as well. Not sure if we're looking at a potential vault build here from our Dwight, but able to build some big time as we see generator number 2 popping off in the distance.
Yeah, we've got the whole team coming in now to protect our Dwight, to make sure that he's not out of the trial just yet. We do have Ace still on the ground. Nancy's now injured, coming in for the hit, trying to protect our Dwight. They don't want him out of this game just yet. Dwight's doing an absolutely incredible job playing these pallets, avoiding the down with the chains, and Slow, I think, getting a little bit frustrated now and having a few rage swings as he's trying to get this Dwight out of the game.
Yeah, and we see, I mean, working our way around here. The survivors are doing a very good job, right? We see taking the protection hits, retreating to safety, getting reset real quick. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Ace moving in as they have just got reset across the way. Unfortunately, Dwight doing everything that they can, but Slow doing a very good job with these M2s to be able to apply those chains there, which to slow everything down. Now going to be seeing the down on the Dwight. Dwight is in the pallet space. We also have the box getting solved across the way. Any pallet save enjoyers? Not going to be the case. That does mean we're now looking at an elimination with 3 gens left to be popped.
Yeah, really nice play by Slow, getting that Ace out. Of course, with all of the survivors and basically the whole team coming in to protect the Dwight and keep him in the trial, we may have seen not too much progression on our generators. We do have 1 pop now, so I think we reset our Nancy, reset our Ace, and got back to work. We do see the hill gen over there being popped. Deadman switch still on the main gen there. It seems very close. Wouldn't surprise me if our survivors are trying to use a pretty big brain tactic here to kind of outplay the Deadman switch and the pain resonance by our avoiding these hooks and taking all of these body blocks and protecting our teams. We don't want pain resonance. We don't want Deadman switch. We want nothing to do with any of them. So a lot of altruism here. We do miss the body block though, unfortunately, and we will see our Claudette Doff be taking their hook.
Yeah, and there's going to be another hook here for us that is going to get us another fresh hook, which of course gets us some big points. It looks like we're going to try and rotate this hook here towards the middle of our map here. At least allows us to monitor this hook state, or this hooked survivor, I should say, while we go and try and check up on our generators. You had mentioned we knew that mid-gen had a whole lot of pressure there. We're going to be seeing the box getting solved across the way. Come on, do the thing, do the thing. Come on, man. Now instead, though, we're going to be just kind of monitoring our generator over here. We see that the gen did get procced with that dead man switch. Honestly, Slow has been getting some huge value from that dead man switch every time we get a hook, which has really helped prolong this game, which is, I know it's kind of weird to say things as we're already got 3 gens popped to elimination, but I mean, honestly, it's bought so much more time. Otherwise, we won't be looking at like 1 generator left, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. So much value from Dead Man's this game. Really nice to see value come out of the picks. I think we got too much value out of the Dragon script from our Nest game earlier, which is a little bit upsetting to see. But we've certainly made up for that one by seeing so many Dead Man switch procs, so much regression on that gen in the main building. Is definitely ready to go. Slow again, going for a bit of a tunnel play on our Claudette here. We will see them up on the hook again without any type of exhaustions or second chance kind of anti-tunneling perks. It does make it very, very easy to get these survivors out of the trial once they're and there we go.
Wow, really getting those last couple crushed out here. Now gives our survivors the opportunity to split the doors before having to worry about maybe going in for the saves. I think the big thing here would really be trying to prioritize getting somebody out the door. Now our survivors do know about that Noed here. It does look like with the save across the way, they at least are going to get that survivor off of the hook, gets them back into the field of play here. This survivor, though, is going to be a little bit closer to at least this door here. So, I mean, has the ability to push across the way. Might not be surprised to see at least 1, maybe even 2 of these survivors still getting left behind. This is going to be a very tough situation to play out of.
Yeah, really nice by Slow there to take the fresh hook on the ace. Oh, Nancy caught off guard in main. I'm not sure if Slow's going to be hooking her or could be going back to the hook.
Oh,
to see.
no.
Oh, this looks not too good for our survivors. We do have someone on the gate over there. We do have the Noed totem in between the gates. We've got our ace chain. Slow is going to be hitting him on the edge right there. And getting some more points from putting him on the hook once again. But we do have Nancy being picked up in the main building while this is all taking place. So I'm really not sure how they're going to go about getting these people out of the game. We do have someone solving the box at the moment, avoiding that chain hunt. Again, Noed is such a prime place for Slow at the moment. He's in quite a nice spot considering this is now in game.
Yeah, that was a beautiful spot. Yeah, unfortunately, the chain hunt is going to get, taken care of with the solving of the box there, but you got so much value out of it. You stop the people over on the door over here, you get yourself an additional survivor in a down. It's kind of the exchange for the same amount of stages, but now still, our survivors need to put pressure onto these doors. And not only do they need to put pressure on the doors, they need to potentially be worrying about the save. Not only do they need to be potentially worrying about the save, they also need to be, worried about the fact that they are still leaving blood pools behind, makes them a little bit easier to track. I'm not saying they should cleanse because obviously there's no Ed in play, but there's a lot working against them right now. So we need to be playing very, very carefully here. We see, though, now working our way around main. That was a door, though, across the way. Does get open. The question is there enough distance to be able to get multiple survivors or is it, we're going to see all 3 survivors down, or is it just 2? Looks like at least 1's getting left behind. Ace still being caught up, though. This is bad. This is going to be missing the chain here, though. It does at least keep them vertical at this point. Definitely a smart decision to go for the hook. I do believe that should allow for this. Wait a minute.
I'll tear your
No way. Did you get this M2?
Okay.
No way you got the M2? Stop.
Oh.
Because if you get the
Holy
M2,
moly.
if you get the M2 in the down, I believe those gates stay up, correct? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's still the deal.
For a little bit of time, yeah. For a little bit of time.
That would have bought
Yeah.
you just enough time to get that last survivor. That would have been absolutely huge there. Still a really good performance, though, from a Pinhead when we're looking at it overall. I mean, we're 8 stages, 2K. You're able to walk out here with a lead 19-14. Definitely a really good showing from a Cenobite. What do you think? You had fun. You said this was your first one you got to see?
It was, yeah. I didn't think he teleported to the box once, did he, Q?
No, but I mean, we saw a couple of times where you're still able to get the chain hunt active
Yeah.
without having to put any active pressure, just by being able to put the passive pressure elsewhere on the map, keeping people away from the box, right?
Yeah. I'm excited to see in our next trial if we've got some teleporting tactics from the killer from Infinity. I really liked the plays from both sides. I think everyone coming in, taking the bodies, trying to protect that Dwight was really nicely done, and for them to go from the slugs and the injured and the death hooks to then coming back, popping all the gens and getting the two people out. I think that was really well played by our survivors and really good decision making there from Slow. And we're going to see how Infinity's killer will respond after a short break. Welcome back to the Wretched Shop. An incredible start to the game as our Pinhead from Infinity responds by immediately finding his box and forcing the chain hunt. We are looking at 14 points for Infinity and 19 for Golden Wolves. I'm so excited to see how our Pinhead plays this one out and how our survivors are going to deal with loading in to a chain hunt. Q, how excited are you for this one?
Yeah, I love watching when killers get to use the box logic to start an early chain hunt. It delays the game just ever so slightly. And when we talk about in the early part of the game, when the survivors have everything at their disposal, right? They have the most pressure. So even just taking a couple of seconds to have to pull away from moving towards the gens, maybe worrying about any sort of totems if they don't know about a ruin yet. Maybe they're trying to look for those early, right? Those are some things that they can't do because now they're having to worry about the box. You do see, though, Doc has been able to get the Claudette. You've got the Ender. You got another M2 here, able to slow Claudette down just a little bit. Should be able to make it to the pallet. There it is getting thrown here at this point. 5 pallets, or 5 gens. We're seeing the pallet drop. Oh my gosh, this must be a top DVD game. Now going to be seeing, though, now the Claudette gets the M2 once again. Should be able to make it to this long tile. Does greet it. Not sure if we're going to be able to make it back to around actually 8. Adam is going to be able to come in and take the protection here. Really good teamwork from our survivors from Golden Wolves thus far.
Yeah, really nice communications there to get that body block, get the blind, and look at the distance. We are seeing a lot of resources being used up in this first chase. We've still got a few seconds left on our corrupt intervention as well, which means that our survivors are going to be looking for some gens to progress while our Claudia is still in chase here. Surprise me now. Yeah, if we see our first gen, there it is. Beautiful stun there. Really nice chase to start this game out.
Yeah, I mean, just doing a good job of making sure you stay upright, stay in vertical, making sure you're avoiding those hooks, which, of course, when we look at the build here, prevents the any worry about the pain resonance. You don't have to worry about the dead man switch as well, which is big value because that could have came in clutch here as we see 2 gens popping already. We talk about this, down would have came in 10, 15 seconds sooner and still ended up resulting in a Scourge hook. One of those 3 gens could have potentially been avoided, and instead we see our survivors here, the Golden Wolves, a bunch of filthy gen rushers, getting 3 gens in exchange for just 1 hook.
Yeah, that is what you want in our esports and our competitive DBD. The first chase, 3 gens, beautiful. Really nice performance there by Team Golden Wolves on the survivors. Really nice response. We are going to continue chase. I think we're looking around over at the fun bus, not committing. Don't blame them here. We do see someone running in potentially for the save, but now, oh, really nice hit there. And I say nice in the way that it looked nice to me because I'm Australian and that's what all hits look like. We are going to see our Pinhead continue chase across the map, though, not using any type of kind of strategy to tunnel, really looking for those fresh hooks. Our Infinity survivor team did manage to get a fresh hook out the door, so they may be trying to respond by getting all of those individual fresh hooks.
Yeah, I think that's a really good strategy too, right? Oh, but we see the flashlight comes in, gets the blind, gets the save, says drop it, and we're going to be seeing Nancy just holding Shift W, trying to make sure that they can stay up right here, working our way around the jungle gym here, and we also see Adam still lined up also to take that protection hit as well. Honestly, right now, Adam being a tank.
Absolutely. The criminal Adam never fails to disappoint us. I think there's a reason that Skin Cosmetics got a name, and this is exactly why. We are going to continue to chase, though, around the Shack. There's no pallet here. They have to play the window or the back of Shack. Unfortunately, missing that chain. but getting the down here. We do have another gen pop in the meantime, and we will be picking up this survivor and going basement. So we're not going to get that pain resonance value here. We're not going to be getting the dead man switch value, which is usually a result of that pain resonance. So our pinhead is going to have to now try and track that survivor. What we can do?
No way. Did that go connect?
Dissolve the box.
That connected, right?
We have the add-ons that we've got here is decreasing the chain hunt time and increasing the gateway casting distance. So I'm not entirely sure the casting distance. I imagine it's teleporting to the box. So it can hit apparently by default.
That was interesting because I felt like we had interrupted the chain hunt here, or we had interrupted the solve to be able to potentially try and get the chain hunt. But then we didn't follow up again. Instead, we checked up on the gen across the way, which I'm wondering what the thought process was behind that. I'm wondering if maybe you're just trying to see if maybe you can force maybe the dead man switch potentially is what we were trying to do there as far as from Doc. But I feel like if you're able to go put pressure onto the chain hunt, even if it results in the 5th gen being popped, if you have a chain hunt going on in the end game with that haste status that we're seeing on the right side of your screen right now from the Noed, I feel like that's a better position to be in. I mean, we're seeing here, you've got some line of sight on the doors, but needing to, I mean, at this point, acquire a couple of more, quite a few more stages before people get out the doors here. I can't help but wonder how much help you would have gotten from that chain hunt, right?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that last gen would have been very, very far progressed. We do unfortunately say goodbye to Rats, who did die to the basement. We've got Noed in play, as you said. We're going to have a quick look over here and see it's okay. It does seem to be very cozy there in the locker in the full lane, but a survivor has been caught out, possibly progressing that gate there. They are going to be running over here at the edge map. Do we have some Z-wall action? We do. Hit through the Z-wall. Doc says he will not be getting put in the Z-wall montage today, but he will slug that and head back to see who else is trying to escape his trial.
Yeah, I mean, this is really kind of what you needed, right? You got the down over across the way on the Ryan here. Maybe if you can get one more survivor down and be able to rotate it and force some altruism still, I think even at that point, no, if you would have gotten the second down, you'd have been good. You would have forced the survivors to need to come in and get that the slug survivor, but instead we see the two getting out here. This is going to be Ryan getting picked up here. Unfortunately, not going to be enough for the set point, but I do think for Infinity here, it is a good moral victory in the sense of you were able to keep things tight in a team against a team like the Golden Wolves on their pick. So now going on to your pick, the Nurse, maybe having a little bit more confidence moving into that set.
Yeah, potentially. We are looking at 35 for Golden Wolves and 28 for Infinity, so it's still anyone's match, and it wouldn't surprise me if we are able to maybe see a third set today, Q.
I would be absolutely down. I love watching these some twins, especially as we have it on a unique kind of setup on Ormond here, at least for the group stage. So I would be down to see it. I would also be down to see it because that means more time hanging out with my international homie on the desk here. So we're going to see how our two teams respond here in set number 2. Like we said, the Nurse on the Coal Tower here, and we will be bringing that set to y'all after a very quick break.
And here we are on the Coal Tower with Sally Smithson, the Nurse. We've got Doc playing the Nurse 14, Infinity, and Golden Wolves on the Survivors. A quick find there, a firecracker gun, and we are going to be starting our first chase here. A very, very spicy build coming in from our Nurse. We do see one of those totems go. Q, I don't know how I feel about this build. It's so risky.
Yeah, definitely a very big risk, especially when we talk about on a map like Coal Tower, that if you've played comp more than like, I don't know, a week, you've probably scrimmed on this thing more than enough times that you know where all the totem spawns are in your sleep here. So with bringing that in, definitely going to be a big risk in that, well, unfortunately didn't pay off here because we did hear the sound notification across the way. We know that a totem was broken. We know that the ruin's still standing. So tried to bring in a little extra spice with the Devour Hope. Not going to be able to get help with that, but we do have the Pentimento here in our back pocket, which could prove big because we do have the very early down. which is here in front of our 3 gen, which we can also kind of monitor these couple of other gens, especially this one here in the middle, while the ruin is still in play here. And we can kind of hold off on that Pentimento a little bit here. So right now our survivors are going to be in a little bit of pressure, but of course, as I talk about that ruin, there it is getting cleansed. The question is, when does the save come in?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to get, I think it's Rin off of this hook here. We do see our Adam get reset in the distance, coming back in now. Going to need backup is called in the troops. We've now got Nancy getting grabbed from the unhook. Adam being tagged. How is this going to turn out? Oh!
That is so big.
The worst case scenario, having a grab and a down from the one unhook. So whilst Rin does get unhooked before struggle, unfortunately, I'm not sure if 2 survivors now basically trading is worth it.
Yeah, we do see though, Mordo getting unhooked relatively quickly here, which means we should be seeing Slow getting picked up off the ground relatively quickly here, which did happen. So our survivors here from Golden Wolves doing a good job of fighting back with some pressure, but Doc just really on a mission. They're able to get another down. This is going to be a 3rd hook state in exchange for what looks like only 1 generator. Definitely the start you're looking for from Doc.
100%. We've got Corrupt over. We've got Brian on his 2nd hook here. We do have Pentimento now in play. I think that's 30%, right, Q? Slowdown.
30% slowdown. 24 seconds added to those gens if they're at scratch.
Oh, and that is in a it's a tough spot for our survivors now with Rin on Death Hook, assumingly without Decisive Strike. We have come from the Cenobite with no exhaustions, no anti-tunnel perks, now into the Nurse set with basically everything except for Flashbang available in the general balance. Our survivors, knowing where that Pentimento is, really wanting to cleanse it. I don't know if Doc's going to allow it though. For the people! Holy molars!
Yeah, it's interesting to see the For the People play coming in there across the way there. I understand the thought process behind it, but now we're going to be seeing coming across here, now going to be getting the tag. Now we've got 4 players injured. When you talk about the snowball potential of a nurse, this is big. Only 1 gen has been complete. We do see little Pentimento, at least at this point, getting cleansed. I believe we still have 1 more of those tones available, if I'm not mistaken. But and it looks like we might even be moving that way now here, about to be, no, maybe not throwing it up just quite. Yeah, gonna go ahead and throw it into play now here, and with the elimination, this is big.
Yeah, really big. We're in a 3v1 scenario against the Nurse on the Cold Tower. We've got Pentimento back in play. I think the good thing here is that we know from the build now there's not going to be the Nataphobia, there's not going to be Popgoes the Weasel. The build's pretty much been shared with our survivor team, and they know what's in play, and once they get rid of that Q, I think we're going to be looking at a no-perk Nurse.
Yeah, it's going, I mean, Doc's kind of shown, I mean, it has a really good sense on both the micro and macro level on with the Nurse, with the pressure that you've got thus far. I don't know if you really need perks. I mean, you've already really moving along. We're talking about setting the pace here. You've already gotten elimination. Now we're going to be seeing another fresh hook. So I believe that means I shouldn't say I think that means, but if we got 5 hooks and that's a fresh hook, it means somebody else is obviously fresh hook. You've almost got your fresh hooks all the way across the board here. We haven't even seen a 2nd gen pop. Doc just on a mission.
Yeah. I think that's what I love about Nurse gameplay, is really showing that mechanical skill. And sometimes you don't need the perks, you don't need the slowdown, you don't need the generator. Enough mechanical skill on Sally Smithson is all that you need. And Doc's doing a great job of showing us what he's got to offer.
And now it's going to be interesting here, right? Because you see that 1 survivor is still injured. So the option for a 2-player save now, not really doable. And also right behind this hooked survivor is that Pentimento that is really slowing those gens down as well. Might not be surprised to see the Golden Wolves maybe even try and prioritize a 3rd generator here while we see the elimination stage here. What do you think?
Yeah, you'd definitely be wanting to get that value from the generator progress. You don't want our poor slow to be hanging on a hook and not getting any value from it. If our survivors aren't going to get him off the hook, I think that they're smart enough to know that that's the perfect opportunity to get some progress on the generators. We do have 3 gens remaining, 3 people left. We do get an unhook though, really nicely timed by Golden Wolves being able to get that without kind of trading or one-for-oneing, but I think our nurse Doc here is going to look to get slow out of the trial and now force the 3v1.
Yeah, oh, we do see the swing here. Was trying to get the connection. Not going to be able to find it now, but we do have the 3 survivors around. We talked about trying to go over the tunnel out here, able to get the down onto our Adam here. Slow finding themselves on the ground relatively quickly. Oh, but they slap them with the D, says Drop It. Able to put a little bit of distance here, but Doc has been on a mission here. Wouldn't be surprised to see Doc only need 2 blinks here to find the distance. Oh, getting caught on the car here actually allows a little bit of extra distance for Slow here. Unfortunately, you are on the backside of main, so it's really not too far to go. There you are back down on the ground. We saw the heel coming across onto the Claudette. Makes me think we're not going to see any pallet save enjoyers, and this is going to be a hook on the backside of main.
Yeah, we do see a gen pop in the distance, which is nice. There were a couple more extra points for Team Golden Wolves here as we now head into the 2v1. Mordo, our Nancy, still injured. Rats, again, as you said, fully reset. I'm really interested to see how they're going to progress these gens and if Doc's going to commit to chase or if he's just going to protect the gens.
Yeah, I would imagine, I mean, kind of where your gens are set up, I feel like we haven't went by any gens, I don't think, recently that have too much progress, right? So I feel like if you happen to find a survivor that decides to do that good old dump tech, right? Just try and book it up towards the shack side and remove our killer from the generator area, you've kind of allowed yourself the ability to, I think some people would call it overcommitting, but it's not really overcommitting because I don't think there's enough time for a gen to get done. We're going to see here Rats taking the hit, and even if Rats moves away from these gens, Doc should be able to get this down relatively quick. Honestly, just been a really good display. Even here, not overcommitting, just playing it safe.
Yeah, that's kind of running into this area. Not too much to work with. Unfortunately, missing that hit there. The down won't come just yet, but it should certainly come quite soon. I have our Nancy Mordo trying to progress these gens, but with Rats now slugged, Doc's not happy with that. Doesn't want the hook just yet. He wants the 4K right now with 2 gens remaining, and he certainly looks like he's going to try and get that.
Yeah, I think this is really big here because you want to make sure that if you can prevent the 4th gen from popping, because that would at least mean that our killer can still play themselves into a 3 gen now for this next trial. If you were able to prevent the 4th gen from popping, it meant you could be a little bit more lenient with which gens you try and pressure out early. But I mean, even still now at this point, you have still played yourself into the position here for Infinity where all you have to do is simply complete the gens. I know we always say that here in competitive DVD, and we say how easy we make it sound, but it is a good thing to know that you don't have to worry about end game perks, right?
That's right. I'm going to be super interested to see how Golden Wolves respond to this one. A really beautiful performance from Doc on Nurse. Really nice blinks, short chases, and so much pressure at the start from that bit of a fumble, I think you'd say, on the unhook on Ryan. But really nicely played, and it was an absolute joy to watch.
We see here, able to find the slugs here before the elimination. Not going to be seeing any bleed outs, so I'm not sure what resolution y'all are watching this in chat, but that does indeed look like a 4K to me before the 5th gen pops and getting that last fresh hook survivor here at the very end. That is going to result in a 28-8 lead here for Infinity. So, you know, what do you think the conversation looks like right now for Infinity to make sure that you don't come out overconfident with the fact that all you need to do is complete the gens?
Yeah, I think that's always the tricky spot to be in, right? Knowing that you've just got to do the gens, but then you think about it. It's a nurse on Coal Tower. We've seen
Right.
4 gens. We've seen 5 gens down at that main building side. So I think Golden Wolves will be praying for some vulgar RNG, and our survivors. I wouldn't be surprised if they're willing to kind of leave some survivors on the hook to get that gen progress again. 5 gens being needed, you're gonna have to do all that you can to get those done. And I think we might be seeing a little less altruism and a little more gen rushing.
Yeah, it should be interesting. We saw that Doc tried to bring in the spice with the Devour Hope. It didn't work out for them. Not sure who's going to be coming out for the Golden Wolves here, but they'll probably want to be bringing out some spice as well, since they will not be able to rely on the end game here. So we're going to be moving into game number 4 between Golden Wolves and Infinity, and we're going to be bringing that to y'all on the Coal Tower after a very quick break.
And we are back on the Coal Tower. We basically loaded in with an injured survivor from Slow on the nurse, responding to the 28 points made by our survivor team Infinity. Now 8 points for Golden Wolves. We're going to see Slow start this chase. Such an early hit and an early find here. Nancy basically spawning in his terror radius. We're going to be taking the chase up
No
to
way.
Shaq.
Stop.
A beautiful play there on the basement stairs, allowing Nancy to avoid that hit. Slow missing another one. Nancy now having the edge map to work with. I think we're in for a really good game here.
Yeah, this is going to be big. I mean, you had talked about we loaded in and basically had the hit already onto our Nancy here. So to at least be able to extend this thing out to around the 70-second marker before you get down, going to be a little bit closer to that 90-second marker once this hook comes across. About that 75, I guess, second marker. I was a little bit early on the other one, but still able to at least buy a little bit of additional time for your team. Yeah, I was going to say maybe gen number 1, which we actually see coming right here. This should be very, very fun to watch. We do need to keep an eye, though, because now only 2 survivors really have the potential to move in for the save here, and I feel like both survivors are going to be required to come into the save.
That's right. Knowing that our survivor team, as we said, Q, they just need to get those gens done. There's another one popping off in the distance. We do have Slow, of course, not running any end game perks. He's got the Nata, he's got Pop, he's got Ruin. He's ready to stop our survivor team from completing those gens. We do have the standard kind of 3-gen around the main building area with Corrupt just wearing off now. Forcing second onto this Nancy, it seems we do have our survivors all reset and full health now, and wouldn't surprise me if we see a couple of them coming in for the number.
Yeah, definitely would be worth the investment time, because you did, of course, push those 2 survivors, or 2 gens out really early. Dwight getting grabbed here by Slow, though. That is going to be huge. A second stage force.
By the knee.
Wait.
Holy moly. So many guns in these things.
Oh, and then the down here, and then that's going to be somebody who's on death hook now, because the second stage is going to be forced. The question is there borrowed time? And even if there is, the timer is going to be just about out. Here's one blink, the second blink coming across. We have 3 survivors down before a 3rd gen's pop. This is wow.
This is incredible. Knowing that there's Unbreakable in play, I don't think Slow's willing to risk leaving anyone on the ground. He does put the David on a hook, but in the time that he does that, we do see one of our survivors get unhooked. What an action-packed start to this game. I can't take it.
Yeah, this was huge. I mean, we talked about Slow needing to come out and really put the pressure down here early. Now our survivors probably at minimum now know about the location of that ruin, but with needing to reset, with needing to get saves, I don't know when you allot the time in there. We do see across the way the save did come in at this point. Slow working their way towards the edge map, because it does look like that's where our survivors trying to take us. I think that was a dead hard that we happened to see there to be able to build just a little bit of additional distance here, but I don't know how much more time that buys, though. We do see a swing and a miss. Every second precious.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing more terrifying than a walking nurse, right? Walking around these PLs. Made Slow lose a little bit of time, missing a couple of blinks, but now getting that down on the Nancy. Will be picking her up. Really interested to see if our survivors reset or if they just go for the gens. They do know about the ruin location, as you said, so I'm not sure what the play is here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially, I mean, now we're down to a 3v1. You still need to get 2 gens done. You still need to get 2 survivors reset. I mean, things really looking tough right now for Infinity. There is going to be a 3rd gen to pop, though, so that does mean at least if you finish 1 more, that at least gets you to the tie condition at minimum, which I would say after the start that you would have, you're at least happy to get to that point. Then you'd be able to try and slow things down a little bit here. It does look like, though, we are taking chase with the survivor. I don't think I saw any blood marks there, and I don't think Slow did either. And for that reason, actually going to break chase, wanting to find either the Dwight or the David.
100% looking for someone who is injured. You know, the survivors, you know, they may not be cleansing the ruin because they don't want to deal with the pop. We don't have a 3 gen available. We do see a reset coming in. And Slow's able to find them just after those heals come into play. So we've now got 3 healthy survivors, 1 dead, 2 gens left, and Ruin still standing, even though they know about its whereabouts.
It's going to be interesting to see here. I mean, now at least since you got the full reset, you don't have the slowdown on the gen. But since you did take the time for the reset, you can probably anticipate minimal pressure onto the gen, thanks to the 200% regression from that ruin that we were talking about. We do hear, though, the ruin did get cleansed across the way, so that is one positive going for you right now for Infinity. Unfortunately, though, David being on the ground actually going to be rotated very, very close to this top area. We see a sound notification across the way. An unfortunate missed skill check. That does give our killer Slow here some information. I think that is the Meg that is just trying to, no, that's the Dwight, I am sorry, just trying to hold shift W up towards the shack as the save comes in behind Slow.
Yeah, really unfortunate timing of that ruin being cleansed right as David was down making a Pop Goes the Weasel pick available to Slow, who chooses not to use it and instead continues this chase with, again, I think you said it was right, but we've got David coming back in here. Potential DS play, I'm not quite sure, but Slow's not buying it. He doesn't want to deal with it. He chooses to go back and have a look at that gen while Pop does still have a couple seconds left. Never mind.
Yeah, not going to be able to get you. I think right there what we saw was Slow understanding, really want to try and prioritize these last couple of hook stages over a couple of seconds of regression. Gets stunned stupid, builds us a little bit of distance there with the pixel perfect talent drop. Working our way around, that's now going to be a hit onto the Megan. 2 stacks now of the Banana Phobia. 10% slowdown for anybody working on those gens across the way. Slow trying to make their way back up towards this main side of the building. Now taking the chase. I think that is the Dwight now at this point. Moving back behind main. 3 stacks of the Banana Phobia. 15% slowdown. But also not only the slowdown, but now everybody can be put onto the ground with one simple M1 just like that.
Now, survivors have done a really good job in breaking that 3 gen at main, but they've now got 2 gens on either side of the map, which makes it kind of difficult knowing where to take the chase, right? Because if you get downed in the middle and you're chasing in the middle, you're going to get hooked in between them both, giving Slow access to either side of those gens to have that Pop Goes the Weasel applied. So a bit of a tough one for our survivors, but they're doing really, really well, I think, so far. We do see Deliverance come into play from Dwight. Our Meg is healed once again. David's still injured. I'm really interested to see how this plays out. There's got to be some progression on another gen somewhere.
Yeah, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news here for Slow, but I don't think that is a Deliverance across the way on to our Dwight. That's actually going to be a second wind here. Renewal here. So that is now going to be a survivor that was able to pretty quickly get onto a generator here, and with needing to at least get a 4th gen done for a tie condition. That is some very, very costly time, especially seeing as we are now moving into the 2v1 scenario. We see this generator here has a lot of progress, but remember, the other generator that we kicked across the way, kind of on the opposite corner of the map, also had a lot of progress to it. So honestly, our survivors still have a chance of this.
Yeah, it's really quite an even matchup. I think, you know, we've got 2 full health survivors here. We've got 1 gen that has a large amount of progress, another one that was slightly regressed because of that Pop Goes the Weasel, but it's anyone's game for now. Both sides are in such a good place. Dwight being found taking another hit, Slow looking for that down fast. I think that he will be slugging whoever is downed next, and there is our 4th gen.
Now the question becomes, how long can Dwight serve the juice here? Because if Dwight can take this aggro and rotate this back towards Shaq, unfortunately right now we are on the edge map, not going to be much on our table here to be able to make a play with. So that is going to be a down, and you had mentioned the slug play here. Definitely the right play from Slow here, because the last thing he would want would be Megan to be able to rotate around and get a 5th and final gen complete, or at least also maybe even make an end game play. You would rather end this thing with 2 slugs on the ground and put them both up successfully onto some hooks here. So we do see moving back towards Shaq here. Not sure if we happen to see any motion. Nice eye by Slow to be able to see that through the window. Honestly, really good job. Now going to be able to use the Pride Rock here to get a good elevation point as well. And but the nice flashlight here to be able to prevent the hit gets you some more time here.
Yeah, we may be looking at a tie here, Q. So, Meg to serve the juice, we can see now that there's not going to be any unbreakable on Dwight. He will be on the floor, Slow knowing what he needs to do. He will not be allowing our Dwight to bleed out, so he's definitely going to be keeping a stern eye on him. Meg really juicing up over here. Edge mapper Andy, I think Dyer calls it, but they will be downed and subsequently hooked. So all that's really left is for Dwight to be found and put on a hook, right?
Yeah, and if that is the case, and there's quite a bit of bleed out timer left on that Dwight up there. If that is the case, that is going to be us running things back here on the cold tower, which makes me want to reflect back to last trial, full sending that 4th gen pretty well in the face of the nurse, right? To be able to force ourselves to the situation where this is no longer the win. This is actually simply the ties. So yeah, I would say it's still kind of a win in the sense of like the Golden Wolves came out and got like the stop here, but you got to feel like as far as for our survivors from Infinity, you got to feel like there's some side for them as well. So we'd be kind of interested to see how our 2 teams respond in the overtime here, but I may be getting ahead of myself. We're having issues locating the slug.
Yeah, Dwight seems to be the master of self. We do know that the 6th-year anniversary of our favorite game, Dead by Daylight, and of course the slug bug is still in the game. So that's always an option as well, of having our Dwight be absolutely silent. But there he is. We found him. He's hanging out in the cold tower. Wanted to have a nice view just before he gets sent off to the entity's realm.
And in case we had anybody wondering why we delayed on the pickup there, of course we wanted to make sure that there is no deliverance across the way, allowing for a potential end game play with the hatch here. So now going to be seeing Dwight getting the sacrifice here, and that does again mean we're going to be running things back here. So we saw Golden Wolves, do a good job in set number 1 here. Infinity was trying to see if they could force a 3rd set, and that indeed they do. Unfortunately, though, it's just going to be running things back here for set number 2, as we're looking at a 36-36 score.
Yeah, really, really incredible gameplay from both sides there. I'm actually shocked that we had very similar kind of hook grabs in the early game on both sides. But if anything, I believe that our teams will use that as a learning experience, and we probably won't see any grabs next game if it's up to me. But we will be back redoing the nurse set, Sally Smithson on the cold tower after a small break.
All right, let's go ahead and take another trip here back into the fog, back on the cold tower. Going to be running things back here between Golden Wolves and Infinity. Slow back out on the killer side here. Going to be seeing that corrupt intervention, of course, in play. We're going to be still seeing the ruin as well coming out here. It does look like the ruin is kind of up, probably where we can anticipate maybe at least one survivor did spawn. So don't be surprised to see, Slow be very very worried about this totem here. We found one survivor. There's 2 blinks and an M1. You're able to get yourself an early tag. We would really like to turn this into an early down, because if you can turn this early down into a hook next to that ruin, that would be, chef's kiss.
Absolutely beautiful start to the game. And really fast gen from our survivors there. Holy moly. We see 1 gen already completed, and we've got 1 hit on the board for Slow. Corrupt still up, Ruin's still in the game, but I'm sure everyone knows about its location now. I think what's cool about Try Games is that Slow knows how everyone plays, right? He knows who's strong in chase. He knows who he should avoid and who's going to juice him on up. So I think they're in for a really fun game, and a lot more information available to him now than what was previously, as we see our first down with 1 gen complete. Ruin now gone, but we will be getting a hook with that, and in its place, a Pop Goes the Weasel availability.
Yeah, so at this point here, we still have about 20 seconds left on that Corrupt Intervention. Then we'll be down to just the 2 perks. However, they are 2 perks that we have seen Slow be able to get some value out of in the previous trial, right? With that being the Nanophobia and the Pop here. So going to be interesting to see if we are able. We saw a couple times Slow decided to go for pressure over the Pop. Looks like might be doing the same thing here. Quickly coming back to where we had the unhook. Alexa set a timer for 15 seconds here, making sure we wait out the borrowed time. Get some David here, trying to build some distance. Slow says, nah, big dog, I'm gonna need you to take a nap real quick. Quickly down on the ground. The question is this the survivor with the decisive strike, and he slaps him with the D? Gonna prolong this chase here. The question is, how much time does that buy your survivors? Because every second could be 3 survivors across 3 different gens trying to knock these things out. Oof.
Yeah, we had it would have been a safe unhook on that David as well, so we know that there could possibly be a deliverance in play on one of these survivors. We are going to see David take another hook, but it wouldn't surprise me if 2 gens are done for all of this.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see. If not, they gotta hope Slow goes to the wrong generator here. With this Pop Goes the Weasel, last thing you would want is with a generator with a fourth piston in full motion. Getting that Pop Goes the Weasel sounds like that just might be the case over here. Not quite a 4th piston pumping, but definitely has some motion to it. So gonna be down, knocked around to that 50% marker or so. Also seeing the For the People play coming in here. Interesting.
Yeah, I think our survivor team knows that Slow's going to go and pop the gen and come straight back. He wants that David out of the game, but the survivors say no, not quite yet. And they do sacrifice their health for his, as he's now fully healed. And we do see Meg now taking a hit. We've got the broken status effect on Nancy, meaning that she's going to be probably doing a little bit of stealthing, maybe finding a gen cross map somewhere that she can get some progression on. Meg doing a really nice job here of evading Slow and not going down. We've got a big flashlight coming in. Always put the flashlight on the juicer players, as we can see here. A miss of the blink, and we continue the chase. Do we? Yeah, we just wanted to check and see the progress on that gen, what's happening over there. But we've now got 2 stacks of Thanatta in play solely because of that broken status effect, and our Meg taking a hit. Not able to be reset just yet, but certainly juicing on up around the map here, taking Slow on a tour of the Coal Tower.
Yeah, and I want to give a huge shout out to our survivors here from Team Infinity. Not sure if it was meant on purpose. I wanted to look it up in the back before I confirmed it here, but you had mentioned how Slow was going to be going into this trial here, understanding the way that the survivors kind of played from the last trial. But you see a 180 turnaround here. We've got 4 gens complete in exchange for only 2 generators. And I also wanted to point out that decisive strike that bought us all this extra time here in the early part of the trial was actually on a different survivor than we saw in trial number 2.
Yeah, you've definitely got the opportunity there to change up the builds. The last thing you want going into a tie set or a rematch is the killer knowing who's got what. It's definitely makes it a lot easier for them to know who to chase and who to tunnel and things like that. So switching up the perks is a really, really smart play by our survivor team. Slow in a really tough spot now with 1 gen left, everybody full health. No real kind of 3 gens to protect and guard. Really tough spot.
Yeah, I mean, we do not, I mean, I guess the 3 you could still say here on the top side, but with knowing how much pressure is on that generator up at top left, and the fact that in order to stop progression on it, you need to get yourself a down. We're going to be seeing 1 blink here, second blink, not going to find a connection. We actually see Slow going for the M1 after the second blink, so that is going to cause a little bit longer of a fatigue. And for that reason, and since our Meg was able to build that distance, it's going to cause Slow to now move back towards the top right. That means less chances of moving towards another hook state, less chances of another pop goes the Weasel. We'll probably have survivors split up on gens at both top left and top right. Wouldn't be surprised to see one of these bad boys popping soon, even with the down here on Dwight.
Yeah, really nice quick down from Blue there, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to be enough. He did manage to get quite a distance away from that gen over near the hill, which we knew that people were working on. Does he make it back there? That is the question. We've got no endgame perks in play. Really not much to work with. We do have, is that another, well, the people maybe are in play, I think. But we do have broken status effect on Dwight as the 5th gen pops.
We're going to have to keep an eye on there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say, because if that's a renewal, and that is a renewal.
It is.
That's another body that you can throw into this chase here, Barn.
Yeah, correct. We've got David injured. We've got Meg running away in chase. We've got Wake Up in play. We've got all of the perks available. A beautiful stun there. But unfortunately, with the changes, 2 stuns and Nurse, it allows her to be straight back into chase.
No way.
Are they going for the hatch? I'm not quite sure.
We see that they're trying to move up for the setup on this side. The question is, what exhaustion do you have? Is that dead hard? Dead hard for the hatch? Dead for the hard for the hatch? No,
Not
supposed to be able to
today.
get that. Not today. No. And well, we do have a flashlight here, so that is going to allow for a little bit of distance. So really needing this, able to get the down on the dock, and I think that's a fresh hook, so that's a big point.
I think so, yeah. Really incredible performance by our Survivor team. They definitely want to take this one out. They want to play twins, I think, by the sounds of it. They want to go into the twins on Orman's set. This is going to be really tough for Golden Wolves coming back in. What an incredible performance. Almost Eternal level.
Yeah, I mean, you love to see this sort of turnaround. The Infinity really coming in, understanding the assignment here, as we are going to be seeing. I mean, you get quite a few stages out the door. That's a big point to be able to bring out here. We are getting a quick double check on our score in the back, making sure that we have our fresh hooks in line, because of course that was 6 hooks there in the end game. But I mean, you mentioned it, the turnaround, right? To be able to go from what, getting 4K'd at still needing 1 gen left, to be able to turn this thing around. You get stages out the door and actually take a lead here by just 1 point, which is, I mean, the best result you can really look for from going out on the Survivor side to start a set is by taking the lead, right?
That's right, and that's what we see. We've got 16 to Infinity and 15 to Golden Wolves. Very close. We are going to switch sides and see how Team Golden Wolves respond after a very short break. And here we are once again on the Cold Tower, our last game in the Nurse set here. We are looking at 16 for Infinity, and we've got Doc from Infinity on Nurse. What we saw from his previous game is that he's got incredible mechanical skill on the Nurse, and we've also got the same build. So we've got Pensamento in play, really beautiful firecracker there, getting the blind on the Nurse. How much longer will this chase last for with that?
Yeah, we do see able to pull the locker tech in from one locker to the other with the point tech now. Okay here, fella. We do hear a sound notification across the way, and just like in the first trial of this set here, now in trial number 4, that is going to be the Devour Hope that does get cleansed before the ruin. It does have the availability to be put up back up and be relit here as a Pensamento totem. We'll be interested to see here at what point in time our killer opts to do that. We see that had seen them kind of opt to do that a little bit later into the trial, in trial number 1 of set 2 here, but we do see found ourselves a survivor here. Also have an unhook going across the way, so gonna go ahead and leave this survivor We also see that the Atom here is going to be taking a health state change for the Peepo here, which does mean we've got a completely healed survivor that just got off the hook.
Yeah, we don't want Rin out of the game apparently, so we will be applying for the Peepo to him. Unfortunately, not lasting too long because he does just get injured by the nurse, and he is down once again. So the anti-tunnel proving a little bit unsuccessful here. He is in a pallet though. Unfortunately, nobody is around. We will see Ryan take his second hook stage next to the main building as we see our first gen pop though. Second,
we are going
never
to
mind.
be seeing a second gen pop here. They are fighting through the ruin though, which, if I can be honest with you, Barn, does have me a little concerned, because if they try to fight through the ruin and then get the generator slowed down by 30% whenever our killer here does opt to go ahead and opt to put that pentimento up. I mean, I understand, wanting to just try and crush the gens out, but it could be a risk that ends up costing you. There it is.
Yeah, I was just going to say we've got a nice regen with a hook and our ruin totem, but we might be replacing that with a hook and a pentimento totem. We do see a trade here by Mordo for the unhook. We are looking to get Rin out of the game with 3 gens done. A 3v1 at 3 gens would be good, but a really nice for the people play there in the jungle gym as the nurse fatigues, really nicely done by Golden Wolves. We are going to see, again, some really nice controlled blinks by Doc, showing that mechanical skill as our slut gets back up in the meantime as well. We're now holding the nurse back from blinking with the flashlight. Golden Wolves really showing us all of the skills that they have to stop Rin from being hooked, but unfortunately, he does get down to edge map, and we will be saying a little goodbye to him at 3 gens.
Yeah, you would have really probably preferred to at least add a third, really preferred a 4th generator here by the time we do see this first elimination come across, especially seeing as we do still have the 3 gen up here on this side still intact. So going to be a tough situation here for our Golden Wolves. Can't really opt to give any or too many more hook stages across here. We're going to need to really be needing to play a darn near perfect game from here on out.
Yeah, really nice blink there onto Rats, our Claudette. We will be continuing the chase up the bottom side of the map here at the shack. Unfortunately, blinking into the basement. Definitely not where you want to be. Doc now having to get out, find out where Rats has gone. Really nice play there. I'm unsure if it was intentional by Rats, but he manages to get a bit of distance there. I think another thing that's going to be exciting to see, Q, is that we've also got 2 Hex Totems cleansed available for Pentimento, so it's possible that we see the reduction on repair speed, but also the healing speed if they want to reset.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how our killers, because we see this kind of come out a couple of times in comp here recently, where you bring in Pentimento and then maybe you have multiple options to put them up. And yeah, I gotta agree, the slowdown on the healing could be big, because of course, if you can spread the pressure on the tags, that's one more thing that's going to need to be done by our survivors. There's going to be at least the 1 Pentimento now coming into play, which will at least slow the generators down as we do kind of continue to track these scratch marks, rotating more back towards the shack side of the map. Of course, we got to keep in mind right here at this hook, this is where we sacrifice the survivor, which means this hook isn't going to be available here for our killer to put anybody else. We see a 4th gen did pop. Now, though, the question is, when does the 5th gen pop? Because right now, Claudette's serving the juice.
Yeah, 100%. Really nice to see Rats on the Claudette putting up an amazing performance here, but unfortunately will be downed. Of course, Caster's Curse letting us know that it's still around and it still exists. We will be seeing Rats being hooked in pretty much the middle of the map here, giving Doc a lot of gens, a lot of availability to pick which gens he wants to go to, but we'll be down here. We've got scratch marks. Not entirely sure why this is. It is Adam. Here we go into the chase. A lot of progression on that gen though, Q.
Yeah, you heard quite a bit back there, and it is going to be interesting to see. I mean, really no reason to kick it here, right? Don't have anything really helping you as far as the pop or any sort of regression. Instead, really just going to try and go for a very aggressive 2-blink, able to get the down here on to slow as well. And I do believe with this hook state, I think that ties us. And then the next one would be Infinity taking set point number 2, and you had mentioned it, if Infinity does wind up taking set point number 2, we're going to be going to see the Twins on Mount Ormond. And of course, after seeing 4 high-packed, high-action games here on the Nurse, it'll be interesting to see these two teams slowing things down. But of course, we may be getting a little ahead of ourselves. We know that the Pentimento only just got put back into play, might have had 2 people doubled up on a gen trying to get some progress. Doesn't look like that's the case though. So that does mean now the Claudette takes the hit. We've also got the save across the way, so now you know no one really doing anything as far as generators, and even after the heal, 30% slowdown thanks to the Pentimento.
Yeah, really tough. But once again, we've got Rats in Chase, unfortunately, downed edge map, very close to where the gens are. And it wouldn't surprise me now if Doc kind of hooks in here and just kind of chills in the area. He's really got no reason to leave now.
Yeah, you definitely, I mean, kind of get the opportunity to just take this elimination here and push across the map. It is a 2v1 here, which does help you out, because, I mean, you don't want this last gen to pop. It does look like maybe our survivors were trying to prioritize the gens since the reset didn't come across here on the slow. Swing and a miss here from our killer, but with the Pentimento up, this needs to be a juice run if you're going to complete generator number 5 and try and still at least get some stages out the door. Because for Golden Wolves, we got to keep in mind now, since we switched these around to a tiebreaker, I do believe that means the Golden Wolves survivors will be starting off on the survivor side on the Twins. So they would like to at least have something as a little bit of a building point moving into this 3rd and final set, right?
Yeah, definitely. And Twins is one of those notoriously long games. I think putting them on Ormond makes it a little bit easier for the survivor teams, because back in the Suffolk Pit days, you know, you kind of have Victor and Charlotte guarding one side of the map, making it very difficult. So it's a lot more balanced and a bit more fun to watch, I think, on Ormond. So if we head on there, which I think we might be, we're looking for some good games as well.
Yeah, and we are going to be seeing here at this point, looks like just trying to see if we can scout just a little bit of motion here. Of course, that is Mordo going up on a fresh hook, so that's a little bit of hang time here. Does look like Mordo is going to get the deliverance here, brings that survivor back into play. Does look like, though, maybe instead our killer here going to opt to go back towards the shack. Not sure if we had seen some motion. There's going to be a sound notification that does indeed let us know we have a survivor back here. That is going to be the Atom. A little bit of nodders here coming across as well. And now at this point, I mean, you've got a couple of stages left on the Nancy. This should still be the 2nd stage onto the Atom. I would imagine our survivors here probably going to still try and just set up for an end game play here and kind of get ready for trial or for set number 3.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. We've got Mordo still with that broken status effect from his deliverance. I'm not entirely sure if going for the save is the right move, so it wouldn't surprise me if he does a little bit of stealthing while he's injured and just kind of... No. All right. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I think he's just going to be doing a bit of stealthing now. Not going to be able to reset himself, I don't think, unless there was some charges left in the that was brought in. But Doc, once again, that game sense and mechanical skill on the Nurse, being able to find the whereabouts of Mordo. It's basically a 1v1 full tower now.
Yeah, and very unfortunate that you're already injured, right? Because it'd be one thing if maybe you could take a 1-tap from a Nurse and then try and make a play towards the hatch, as we do see the Nancy going that way here. However, it is going to be the Nurse taking priority here on the hatch. Yeah, we get it, Nodders. We're now going to be seeing the hatch getting closed, though, and now maybe just one last 1v1. But I mean, honestly, Infinity doing a good job here, fighting back after the Cenobite set. Then you have to go into the overtime here in set number 2. You take that. This is going to be kind of a nice little victory lap, even, honestly, just to kind of wind things down as we prep for set number 3. And you were mentioning it earlier, with the Twins getting moved to Ormond gives the survivors a little bit more tools, a little bit easier to go for the resets, not having to fight back so much against the strengths that is the Twins. But we've still seen the Twins doing a very good job as far as collecting quite a few amount of hook stages as well as eliminations the few times that we've seen them come out thus far. So Should be
Yeah.
interesting to see our two teams really slowing things down.
Yeah, Morto being found here. Unfortunately, no one's made a video on the ultimate gate speed build, so we're not able to see him get the gate open in time. We'll be trying to get that cancellation of the blink, but not coming through there. Doc downing Morto, will be putting him on a hook, and we will be definitely heading into the twin set. I'm excited.
Yeah, this should be really good, and I mean, this is going to be one of those things where even though you dropped the first set for Infinity now, gotta be feeling really good. Having the momentum on their side, I mean, you go from being able to get stages out to being able to get the 4K. That's gotta be making you feeling really, really good heading into set number 3 here. So right now, looking at a set score of 1-1. Our second set score, for those who didn't want to know, 44-23. In favor of Infinity. And as we have talked about, we are going to be going out to Mount Ormond. So make sure you bring your jackets, bring your ski caps, and we'll be bringing y'all set number 3 here after a very quick break.
Welcome back. We are walking through a Winter's Wonderland in the Ormond Resort with Victor and Charlotte. That is Slow currently on a killer once again as we restart our Survivor Team Infinity. Unfortunately copping a penalty of -2 as they bought the Shroud of Union instead of the Shroud of Binding required in our twins balancing. We are off to a really nice start here with Slow going for the long-range snipe and getting it very nicely done.
Yeah, good job by the ace, though. I think was trying to make sure that they were the one to be able to secure the victor there instead of trying to allow the Claudette to take that hit. The only unfortunate news, though, is that will require one of the two survivors to be left behind here in the shack. Now actually going to be seeing both survivors have still been left here. Not sure if our survivor on the backside understands as far as the fact that we're getting the little pulsing heartbeat from the little one there, but now going to be seeing Slow, probably just going to be waiting back for this recharge here, the cooldown, yep, and just going to go ahead and release the beast here. Now going to be seeing the Victor able to get the first down. No one's around for the crush. Kind of interesting to not see our survivors opt for that hair strategy that we sometimes see them go for, because this is now going to be 2 people down just like that.
2 down for the first gen, that's right. But Slow's not done yet. He wants more pressure. He wants more value from his Thanatophobia. And we now see an attachment on the Dwight with Victor. So we've got no Shack pallet. We've got 1 gen done. We've got our Claudette going up on a hook now. I'm not sure if anyone's going to be able to go and pick up our other slug, but we do see them heading in. Do they get the pickup?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to get the pickup just in time. Also going to be able to do a good job taking the protection hit. The only unfortunate thing is with that protection hit, we are going to be seeing that broken status coming in thanks to the Force Penance. And of course, Force Penance being a very common perk that we have been seeing here on the twins. It being kind of a common strategy to want to try and prolong the chases, also the partnering up system. So even when you're partnering up to take the hit from the victor to prevent the person from going down, that also counts and will give you the broken status as well. So of course, with the twins ability to really flex when there's multiple survivors on the ground, understandable why we're seeing that come into play a lot. There's going to be the crush, but I mean, 300 survivors. I think this is just going to be a second stage progressed.
Yeah, so doesn't seem to mind there. I thought that he may be doing the play where you leave Victor in there, get the killer instinct of them coming out of the locker and quickly going for the pounce, which is something that you're able to do when you've got the toy sword as your add-on. You've got a very fast charge time. As you can see there, a beautiful attachment onto the Dwight. Once again, really nicely done by Slow. I think he's pretty keen on hanging out over this side of the map, but looks now like he's going to break some walls and maybe try and pressure the survivors off of these gens.
Yeah, this is tough. We see the survivors potentially trying to prioritize gens over friends, but against the twins, a very, very bold strategy. So we'll have to see how it pays off for them. Of course, we see Slow still kind of hanging out here, trying to prevent the tap onto that generator. Also, keeping an eye across the way, making sure we don't have anybody moving in for this unhook here. And if we move to a 3v1 before even a second generator pops, Infinity really going to be into trouble here, especially because you got to remember right now, Slow has a lot of information, knows who has the borrowed time, knows who has what. Also, now it's a 3v1, and basically you have an additional 2 points because of the penalty too. So really good spot to be in.
That's right, that's right. I didn't think that the Nancy was going to make a locker play with Slow moving closer towards the main building with Charlotte there. He would have been able to make it back to the locker if they were to get locked in by Victor. So Nancy making a really good decision of choosing to leave, trying to abuse these stairs here. The team comes in, here they are. The squad rolls up, a kick to Victor, and the others there to pick up Nancy before Charlotte can waddle her way over, which they do. We see Victor now back out on the ground, but unfortunately all of our survivors are injured and grouped up, which is a very, very risky place to be in for our survivor team.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing here now the Nancy going to be going down in the pallet space. No Dwight around to apply the foot to the forehead, so it is going to allow for the little minion now to continue working their way around the map. This is the ace here, does bait out the miss. Isn't however able to follow it up with a crush here, so it is going to require Dwight to need to rotate over to pick up that survivor across the map. And really unfortunate because we are going to be seeing now Slow quickly able to get that other down here, so you know where your other 2 survivors are. You know they helped one another over here. You got at least one. They're both here now. Not going to be able to find either one. That is going to be a crush. At least at this point you should be able to secure your hook state over across the ground. Oh,
is that what Slow decides to do though? No, he wants more, doesn't he? He's just so greedy with Victor. He wants more pressure being applied. I mean, the survivors are really doing a great job with their altruism and the buddy system, I guess you could call it. But again, it's just so risky being injured and grouped up, but it's also a really nice payoff, as we've been seeing, with their ability to pick each other up. Make sure that Victor's not in play. We do see blood. We do find our other survivor here trying to progress this gen. I'm not quite sure where they went though, and I don't think that Slow's too sure either.
yeah, I thought I'd seen the blood going off and up to the right up the stairs here. Honestly, oh, yep, there it is. There's going to be the Dwight. Now going to be get found in the locker. Might be seeing Slow take a second here while we've got the Dwight locked away there in the closet. Just going to be seeing Slow at least grab one of these survivors here. Put them up on a hook because we know that Dwight ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Going to be interesting, though. Now you're stuck in a very hard decision. Do I try and stealth it out? Do I go for the pickup? Does look like they get the pickup here onto the ace. So basically back in a similar position. Only difference is this time you do have a hooked survivor. We have seen our survivors here from Infinity really trying to commit to this middle gen, trying to at least get a 3rd generator complete. I feel like that middle gen is going to be their best chances at it. There is going to be the down. What? Oh no, I thought they were on the outside locker. They're in the inside locker. No.
There shouldn't be enough time for Slow to get over there though, so we may see our poor boy Victor get thrown. There we go, thrown from the doors of the locker as Charlotte once again waddles on over to say, hey, what's up over here? We know that Dwight was over there and we find him once again, but in the meantime, Ace, back up. Absolute slugfest here. So much pressure being applied by Slow. Really, really good example of gameplay from the twins, as we do see our hooked survivor hit the 2nd stage. I think Slow's now ready to take his hooks, and I think some would say go next.
Yeah, I think Slow saw after having the really nice performance in set number 2, with that performance still requiring, us to run it back, wanted to make sure that they set the bar very, very high here in set number 3. We're looking at a potential, as long as we can secure everything up here. Oh, gets snatched a big boy. Gonna be able to at least find the Dwight here. And as long as you can secure your last slug, we're talking about 28-4.
Yeah, that is a really tough spot for Infinity, having only 2 gens done. Slow showing the power and the pressure that can be applied by twins if played really well. And I think that it was a really nice pick and a really nice showcase of twins gameplay here. I know that a lot of people would probably despise having a twins player like this in pubs, but you know, in comp we definitely appreciate it, and you can appreciate the skill and ability here for that 4K with 2 gens complete by Slow from Team Golden Wolves.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've seen Slow play a big diversity of killers. Hadn't seen them break out the twins, so to be able to come out in this fashion, also to be able to do it in the fashion, I mean, admittedly, right after we had kind of had the delay on the restart, usually that can be a little rough for the killers, even though you're getting the benefit of, you know, getting the information from the perks and the -2 from the penalty as well. And also, I was just thinking, as far as for the Shroud, it's not going to be 28 to 4. It is 28 to 2, thanks to that penalty here. So, I mean, our survivors are going to need to come, our killer here from Infinity going to need to come out and do basically what we just saw, but better. And that's a hard mark to hit.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really intrigued on seeing what build they bring in. If it's something very similar, Slow getting a lot of value from that forced penance, but you know, the survivor team as well, with their ability to buddy up and to get those pickups on the slugs, kick the victor. I'm looking forward to see if Golden Wolves are able to do the same thing. And of course, as usual, we will take a short break and come back to everyone with Infinity on the killer on Ormond after a break. Welcome back to our final game of the day, or night if you're like me and it's currently 6 in the morning, but it's fine. We are on Ormond. We have got Infinity coming in on the killer, looking to secure a whole bunch of kills before a generator pops. So we've got Ruin, we've got Thanatophobia, we've got Corrupt Intervention, and we've got what appears to be
Checking offerings.
That checking of the perks. It's fine. We do have our first down here. Very close 5 gens done. It does appear that Team Golden Wolves have forgotten a large amount of their perks. They are playing the 2-perk format tournament. A little bit of fun here, I think, Hugh.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if we were kind of trying to do like our 1v1 sort of skill sets with one exhaustion perk, one other perk, or what's up. But yeah, we do see, you know, we just got our Dwight here hanging out off in the distance there. We also have actually Charlotte going to be getting returned to form. It should be interesting to see as far as with this chase now moving up into the main building here. This pallet has been broken, so this is going to at least break down this main pallet at least a little bit. There's still about 10 seconds left on the Corrupt Intervention, and Ruin still being in play here as well. And I mean, with the survivors basically only needing they have a perfect game here out, right?
Yeah, I think so. We got a beautiful hit coming in from Morto. Another one there. A lot of pressure really being applied here. We've now got 4 stacks of Thanatophobia in play. You love to see it.
And I realized I said that backwards. The killer here needing to play a perfect game. Now you are in an ideal situation if you think about it. 4 survivors injured across the board here, right? The twins do manage to really seem to thrive whenever there's multiple people injured. Not sure if maybe we're going to be able to get this survivor back up off of the ground before Charlotte gets here. We did see, though, across the way, there was the loud sound notification. That was the Ruin, which is going to be big because that does stop the regression on the gens. But if you go on a crazy run here, this could happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at 2 slugs and 2 people injured, right? So it's the position that you want to be in if you're looking to get that pressure and get a perfect game. We do find another survivor over by the shack. I don't think our killer is willing to take the risk and leave those slugs a little bit too far away there from the shack. So I think our poor victor will be flung from the locker, and our survivor will be heading on out to get back on that gen.
And, you know, we had taken the look around earlier. We were seeing those survivors coming in with the minimal perks. Not sure if it was a display of confidence, but when we had seen across the survivors, I had noticed a lack of Unbreakable, which is definitely a perk that you would prefer to have at your disposal. So going to be interesting to see. I mean, yeah, at this point, you only need one more generator done. We do see, though, the Claudette going to be, oh, the Claudette going to be body blocked here. Unfortunately, though, whenever a Victor does pounce, it is the most useless you feel as a killer as you sit there with the kind of cooldown, seeing someone who's walking up to you, ready to kick you in the face. Unfortunately, not going to be able to retrieve the slug up off, or retrieve the survivor off the ground. So this will be another hook state here. Oh, things are going to get spicy here, Barn.
No Arky Andes today, but we do see our second generator pop. We do have an unhook here, but Victor will be released. He is looking for another down. Where did those survivors go? Found them. Oh! The collision of the air, I believe, really unfortunately.
Did we get caught on the handle of the locker sticking? Like, I'm so confused. It was a very unfortunate pounce.
There was a single hair stuck on the locker from one of our survivors now. Our poor Victor managed to hit it.
Oh boy, look at the one down, though. Of course, it's very quickly going to be followed up with the crush, thanks to them doing that very common pairing up tactic that we do tend to see from our survivors during Comp Twins gameplay. We are going to be still seeing, though, our survivors across the way still all staying injured. Not sure if it's just because they know that if they were to even go on a crazy slug spree right now, that they still win the game. But I mean, oh, got the down here. Is this going to be close to the hook? Not sure where other survivors are. Might use Victor here to kind of be like that little pylon right next to the hook. Of course, you got to be at least a little farther away from it before you can switch back to Charlotte. But with that being the case, might be able to put just a little bit more pressure down. Unfortunately, though, it is already Golden Wolves taking set point number 2 here in set 3.
Yeah, we do say congratulations to Team Golden Wolves for taking that set point 9 of the series now, winning that Cenobite set. So we're going to continue playing it out even though the decision has been made, but it's always fun to see everyone play it out. You know, you've got Golden Wolves in here with their 2 perks. We've got Infinity looking to get some more pressure, some more hooks, and some more points. It all matters. They definitely want to keep on playing. We've got more gen progress over here as we do a little locker camping with Victor. I'm going to be interested to see there, as I said, if he switches and goes for that. I don't think there's enough time to get the kick. There's not. So we've now got a slug and our poor Dwight trapped in the locker, but I don't think our Charlotte's going to get over there in time to make it.
It's interesting, right, to see the Golden Wolves here kind of, I mean, they could still potentially obviously get, you know, all 5 gens done and get several stages out the door here. But when we're talking about we're in group stage where every point matters and we're seeding for positioning, and when we talked about earlier, at least Dyer and I, everyone wanting to make sure that they're at least as far away from a potential early matchup against Eternal. I feel like you want to make sure that you got all the points all the way around. It is, though, also a point as far as we talk about for Infinity's killer here, a way for them to still be able to accrue up some points to maybe potentially still be able to qualify for a position maybe with a tiebreaker or something like that. So I just kind of want to point that out because it's kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, really interesting pounce there. 2 survivors behind the pallet. And our Victor missing both of them. Really unfortunate there. I'm interested to see now if they're going to be able to do that again. They're not. They are going to take Victor here. A big drop from main building, and down he goes. Charlotte not really too concerned there, I think, about doing that chase. So they will be moving over, checking on the hook and heading back into main building. You know, the people are kind of floating around main. It seems to be quite a safe space, especially when you've got Victor who has trouble pouncing on stairs. You've got lockers all upstairs and downstairs in the main building. So almost like a safe haven for our survivor team.
Yeah, and we do see here now going to be sending in a survivor here for the save. Now quickly going to be picking up the Dwight back up onto the hook for our, I should say this survivor up onto the hook they go here. That's going to be an elimination down to the 3v1 here. Now going to be interesting to see as we see the release onto Victor, unbinding our little friend here, moving towards the tractor. The fact we're not going to be able to make the count, able to get the vault over with the crush here for Zarina as well. We are going to be seeing a little bit of back and forth. I think we're going to be trying to at least try and keep aggro away from here, because if you do a quick peer around, you'll notice there's no real objective over here. So maybe seeing our last two survivors split up on the last two gens.
Yeah, Q, I definitely expect that while Rin's over here kind of playing this palette, having some nice one-on-one time with Victor, unfortunately being down there during that vault. But we've got both Charlotte and Victor over here, so I'm interested to see what's happening in that back corner at the gens. We do see Claudette in main taking Victor away, and I think we'll be seeing Ryan take a now.
Yeah, and that's going to be also, as you do see us picking up our slug, generator number 4 getting popped off across the way here. We had mentioned securing our hook here onto the Claudette. That is also going to be the elimination onto our Claudette as well. Does look like we're going to be finding our Nancy, I do believe that is, taking the chase up towards where we have this pallet. This pallet is still down here. So it is something that we are trying to make a mind game around. Now going to be seeing the blind coming out while we do break. I don't know how much distance that's going to end up getting us, but they're ninja.
Absolutely.
Where'd they go? Quick and quiet. Lock it.
Surely a looker, right? Yeah, it has to be.
Has to be this one. Yeah, found him!
Oh, my God, but unfortunately not getting potential head-on play there, but a really nice Houdini play. Unfortunate window vault. Duking the Victor is not on the cards today. Unfortunately, we'll see Mordo take Victor to the face, and he will remain slugged, while the small Victor just goes around and, of course, we find the last survivor. Really nice vault there. This pallet is going to haunt him.
Very tough spot to be in for sure for you. Wouldn't be surprised. I wonder if maybe they're just trying to get that last. I mean, we had heard that middle gen had so much. Oh no, able to catch the survivor going for the slow vault. Nice awareness here to be able to get the down. So now just going to be more about securing up the slugs, wrapping things up. Of course, Golden Wolves has already secured not only this set, but has secured up the series here, and believe they should be looking at, honestly, a nice spot moving into the elimination rounds. They've already had some pretty solid performances thus far in group play here. We're going to be seeing, of course, this first hook in the basement, just going to be about securing the other one. Not sure what resolution y'all are watching this in, but this does indeed look like a 4K to me. Golden Wolves looked really, really good today.
Yeah, really well played. I think their communications and their teamwork was definitely on point. All of the body blocking and the altruism that we saw in the Cenobite game was really commendable. And you know, the nurse set as well, we saw a lot of really nice changes there and really nice for the people play. So a really good performance. And of course, you've got to mention the performance of Infinity as well. That nurse came cute. Incredible.
Yeah, Infinity definitely showed a lot of fight here today. I mean, we took the second set to the overtime. Even the third set here ended up being a little bit closer here, being 36-30. Of course, a little bit of fun going on in that last trial, but Infinity's I'm gonna be interested to see how I'll be interested to look at it afterwards to kind of see how the brackets start to look. I'm sure that means Infinity's gonna have to really make sure that they prepare for, I think it would be their third and final game for them as far as for group play, because of course every match, every set really truly does matter, but you were at least able to get yourself one set point here today. But again, big shout out to the Golden Wolves as far as for their victory here today.
If you ain't show something, you just don't wanna be. You wanna be me, but you will never be as fresh as